Hello, Social Dragoons. My name is Alex, and welcome back to Let's Play Cuphead. In today's video, we're going to be finishing up the game, but I got a little story and an explanation to give you guys before we get too deep into things. So, we are in the final level of the game, Inkwell Hell. Now, this is where the last two bosses of the game are held, King Dice and the Devil. Now, I would be showing you the King Dice fight first, but there's a caveat. If you remember a few weeks ago, I made a short after I defeated King Dice. Well, I did not record myself beating him, and that was immediately after I did so. Now, for my sanity, I felt like I had to do it in 2 takes. So, the first video alone took me 49 minutes and 2 seconds, right? And the second one was 1 hour, 56 minutes, 50 seconds. And that's a grand total of 2 hours, 45 minutes, 52 seconds. I spent nearly 3 hours on this asshole alone. Like, do you know how unbelievably frustrating this is? I fucking hate this fight. Let me break it down for you. Editing me, you better be adding in the pictures right here. So this fight, and no pun intended, it's meant to be a giant gamble. So, you know that one game in casinos where people bet chips and roll dice? That's the kind of table that the fight takes place in. There are 9 numbered spots, 3 safe spots, a start over slot, and a finish slot, right? Now, here's where the element of chance comes into play. Dice will pop out a pink die, and as we've learned through the game, anything pink is parryable. So, you parry the die in order to move set amount of spaces on the board, right? Well, depending on what space you land on, you will fight a certain boss. And they're not random, they are set. The only thing random about the board is where hearts are going to be placed. The hearts are there as extra hit points, but honestly, it doesn't really mean much of anything. Now, some are easier than others, but that still does not alleviate the pain from this fight. So, let's picture this, right? You manage to beat some of the bosses, avoiding others, right? And you manage to get to the last 3 spaces, which are safe, start over, and finish. I had to hit that start over space so many times. And the only thing that I could do was play again and hope that I got to the finish this time. But I'm probably just barely holding on by a thread here, and I still have to fight bosses that I skipped over. But the torment doesn't end there. Oh, no. If you somehow manage to get to Dice himself, he doesn't make it easy on you. God forbid. He sends out torrents of cards, and you can only parry the pink ones, right, as we established throughout the game. Well, I swear to God, I am hitting the fucking parry on time, and the game's not fucking registering it. And you want to know what's even worse? I think he has the most health. Why, just why, can I not fight Dice himself? No mini-bosses, no minions, just him. Why? This fight nearly broke me. Okay? It nearly broke every ounce of sanity I had left. I was in tears trying to do this. I nearly lost my voice. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm damn near going to lose my voice now trying to record this little rant. Why is it like this? Screw whatever people say about the devil or Dr. Call. King Dice is the worst boss in this whole fucking game. This asshole right here is the main reason why I don't want to play this game again. Okay, and now that that's out of the way, let me give my voice just a little bit of a break, and then I'll be back to talk over the final fight and give my final thoughts on the game while possibly talking over the final death count, which I'm not adding King Dice. That's just too much for me, okay? It's too much. So, whew. I'll see you guys in a minute. Hello, Sister Dragoons. Alex back again, and I apologize for the intro for the video. I really needed to get that off my chest, so that way I can, properly talk about what my thoughts are for the game as a whole, and to focus a little bit more on the final boss itself, which we'll get to in a bit. Just gotta walk over to the right for some reason. And because I'm not taking any chances here, I decided to activate the last wish of Jimmy, and it's time for One Hell of a Time, featuring the devil himself. Now, before you start the final fight, you do have an option to either give him the soul contracts, but that gives you the bad ending and also causes the title screen music to play in play in reverse. So if you want the canon and sorry, so in my throat. So if you want the canon ending, you have to fight him, and yeah, sorry, I just sort of like I'm running out of things to say here. Though, thankfully, unlike, say, King Dice, I can actually fight this guy and, I can fight him directly without needing to worry about any kind of, any sort of a mini-boss. So, basically, how this first phase works is that the devil is just going to sit on his throne and either do that goat clap, which was patched with the update, I believe, and sometimes he'll do some sort of spell to send in send projectiles, but he'll also be sending in his little gremlins here and there, and you do kind of need to pay attention to them as you go through the fight. And of course, he'll also do some other animal transformations, like the dragon and spider that we saw just a minute ago. And and also during the fight transition, his skeleton can hurt you. So be sure that you're not in the way of that. So for his second phase, you just need to shoot his eye, but he will summon axes and bat bombs out of his ears. So you really want to pay attention to that, along with the poker chips that are just raining down on you. And yeah, it doesn't seem that hard, but trust me, it is pretty tricky, especially when you have like so much to deal with, and you're just now realizing like where the chips are coming from. Now, with this final phase, you will have to deal with 2 minions on either side. The devil sending out these little minions that pretty much just love attacking you. But this is the final phase right here with his crying, and thankfully this did not take me as long as King Dice, like half the time in total, which might be playing over my final thoughts. But if I could comment on this boss in particular, yes, it was frustrating. A final boss is meant to be frustrating. I'm not angry at that. But I had more trouble with dice than I had with the devil. Like that is saying something. But well, but I mean, honestly, like maybe there was a couple of things that could have been done a little bit differently for the devil. Like I don't know, maybe not having his skeleton hurt you for one, because like you can't hurt the skeleton either way, right? Like it is a transitional period, so you should not be hurt, and vice versa, right? Also, if you're thinking about just staying on the first floor, well, you can't, because there are firewalls that are going to be coming out for you if you decide to not, you know, if you don't decide to hightail it out of there. So, so now that the devil has been defeated, the brothers burned the contracts, and everybody who owed their souls is now free to do basically whatever the heck they want. And well, there was like a tease for something else to come, which at first we thought was gonna. Well, I assumed that at first the notion was that there was gonna be yet another game, which, you know, I honestly would not mind it if some issues about this game were addressed. And well, I think I should probably go over that now since the credits are rolling. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So, firstly, I do not want to I don't want to underplay how successful this game was, because the developers of this game put their houses on the lines in order to make this game a reality. And there's so much unused content here that maybe a sequel game could come up with. Like, maybe just like a... Like, I believe there was like a pachinko-inspired enemy that was going to be in King Dice's area. But he was scrapped from the game. And I know that there was this like a bat devil thing that was in early concepts, but it never really made it to the proper game. Sorry about that. Now, and honestly, the game does deserve the reputation that it has, because like this, holy fucking shit, like the animation in this game alone is spectacular, and this was all hand drawn. You hear that, AI bros out there? Like, just put time and effort into your craft and you can make something amazing, right? Don't cheap out, you know? But it's not just the visuals, right? The music was also great. Like, I felt that each boss track was unique to itself. Well, it was unique to the character specifically. I liked how every aisle had a different theme, like the eeriness of Inkwell Hell, the slow jazz of aisle 3, the carnival music of aisle 2, and just the feel-good music of aisle 1. That is very cozy, and it shows that it wasn't just the art style and the animation that had a lot of time and effort placed into everything. However, when looking at it from a gameplay perspective, okay, as someone who's played the game, I just want to make that clear. I'm speaking as somebody who has played the game and has also watched a lot of other people play the game over the past few years, right? Okay, so I get what the game is trying to do, but that doesn't necessarily mean I have to like it or enjoy how the game has been trying to handle this, right? So, my biggest problems come from one, the airplane levels or bosses, right? There is next to no customization for how you approach the fight. It's just either bombs, bullets, use your EX moves or your super moves, and it doesn't really evolve much from there. Like, I guess maybe for the sake of variety and the fact that they couldn't think of anything else to do with some of the fights, but I don't know, just like for some of the fights, Dr. Call, for example, I would have liked to have battled him on my own and no biplane, right? In fact, that same sort of notion kind of applies to almost every boss that requires an airplane, or even, you know, who'd be a perfect example of like a boss that kind of fits a biplane fight, but we don't do that. Grim Matchstick. That fight is completely up in the air, and we're just using our guns. So why couldn't we have something for Kala, Carl, or heck, even Jimmy? But I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of how the biplanes were handled in this game, right? I don't think that they were a good variety, but they did at least break up the formula for what it was worth. So I know it sounds like I'm backtracking here, but overall, I'm not a fan of how it was handled. So, next I wanted to talk about, okay. So, lowest point of the game, aside from the biplanes, I find, is King Dice. Now, I already talked about why I hate him in the very beginning of this video, so I won't spend too much time here, but I would have liked to have battled King Dice himself because he holds himself with this confidence, this energy, this sort of charisma, right? And I just wanted to deck him in the face for putting me through all this stuff and blocking me from moving on to the next aisle, because unless you have every single soul contract, he is not going to let you progress from aisle 1 to aisle 2, for example. So having a personal one-on-one match with him would have been a lot more cathartic. But we didn't, and instead we had an unnecessary endurance match. Now, I know that some people are gonna try to defend it, but frankly, I don't care. Fuck King Dice. And he is the main reason why I don't want to play this game again. Yes, I don't want to play this game again, all because of King Dice. It took me damn near 3 hours to defeat him. And this was including the Jimmy cheat, right? And while we're on the subject of that, I don't like how this game effectively punishes you for trying to have a slightly less irritating time. let me explain, right? So for most bosses, right, you can either choose to play either regular mode or simple mode. It basically easy and normal, right? Now, thankfully, this is not one of those games where you have to beat it on hard in order to actually progress and get the best ending, right? However, if you choose to play on simple, the game is going to tell you, hey, nice try, but you didn't play the game that we want you to play it. Or the way that we want you to play it, rather. So, for cases like Bonbon, Jimmy, Call, and especially King Dice, you're left with no choice but to play at normal difficulty when there's already so much shit that's going on screen. It's like, how did you expect people to do this back when the game first launched? Yeah, they found a way, but not everybody is on the same playing level, you know? And yes, there are other charms that do give you health. However, there's a trade-off. It makes your attacks weaker. So, again, it's the game punishing you for wanting to take things easier on yourself. And I'm not saying, like, this game is easy on simple mode because it will challenge you, right? No matter what difficulty you're on, it will still challenge you. It's almost like Doom in a way. You're going to die in Doom no matter what difficulty you're on, right? So, why couldn't Cuphead follow the same mentality? You're going to die, but you can still progress even if you beat it on the simpler difficulty, right? Like, if you're not gonna let us do it that way, at least give us more of a fighting chance that isn't a 3-time per save file wish, right? Like, Jimmy's whole thing is 3 times per save file, and once that's up, that is it. You cannot use him again. So, yeah, I think it's leaning a bit too much into the old school, archaic design choices of the 80s and 90s, which is something that we've outgrown, by the way. And because of this, I do not want to play the DLC. Nope. Nuh-uh. I for my own sanity, I do not want to play it. I really, really do not want to play it. I get that it's not very long. You know, like, not everything is mandatory, like the parry challenges or getting the charms and whatnot. But I've seen I've seen the levels there. They look like a living nightmare. And I was already struggling with King Dice, who was supposed to be the penultimate fight, and also Dr. Call, who wasn't even in the top 3 final battles, you know? Well, I mean, technically he was, but that just depends on how you do that aisle in that case. But point is, I've suffered enough already, okay? I nearly lost my voice several times while getting footage for this game. So, for my sanity, for my vocal cords, and you know, just kind of wanted to get this, and just kind of wanted to get this chapter of my life over with. I do not want to play the DLC. Okay? So please, I'm sorry, but don't ask for that in the comments. I really, really don't want to play through the DLC. I've suffered enough through this game. But do I recommend that you play it? I mean, at your own risk. But Cuphead to me is one of those, I want to play the game vicariously through someone else, right? Because like, I'm not actually the one who's playing the game, but I can still feel the anger and the frustration that somebody else is having, right? And it's a different ball game from doing that to actually playing it, right? You know how people say that there's a difference between playing a game and watching a game? Yeah, I think Cuphead is a better game to watch. If you're so inclined to do so and you have not done so already, first of all, the hell is fucking wrong with you? And second, do it at your own risk, because this is not a comfort game. This is not a game that you play to blow off steam. It's not a game that you can just sort of turn your brain off and just have fun with it, you know? You need to actively lock the fuck in and actually, you know, get it done. So, yeah. Those are my final thoughts. Amazing visuals, incredible music, but there was a lot of legitimate gameplay concerns and frustrations I had. And not every boss was a slam dunk. Again, play it at your own risk. And after all this, I feel like going back to something... Oh, sorry about that. Sorry. I feel like going back to a franchise that you know, kind of makes me feel a little more comfortable. And no, it's not Pokemon, though it is a game that I haven't played in a long time. So I guess I'll see you guys then. But I better sign off. Thank you so very much for watching the video and the whole playthrough, for that matter. If you've been following this far. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like the video and also comment your thoughts down below. And if you're new around, please subscribe to the channel, because we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and every little click helps out a lot more than you think. So, until next time, Celestial Dragoons, remember, reach for the stars.